WIFTV PM. WIFTV PM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio, you're listening to The Bigs with Eugene McIntosh and Terrence Tomlin.
Let's begin now.
They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, but not because our size. It's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, but not because our size. It's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, but not because our size. It's the bigs, it's the bigs. They calling us the bigs, it's the bigs, it's the bigs, but not because our size.
What's going on, everybody? You know what the song means. It means it's time to jump back down on the soil
with them brothers.
With the brothers, man. Your favorite founders of the best, most illest independent sports media outlet in the land, the Bigs, man. It's time to jump down on the soil. Gino, y'all know who I'm riding with. Eugene McIntosh. I'm Terrence Tomlin. How you feeling today, bro?
What the now fin news? What's happening to the family members out there? Peace and blessings to everybody tuned in to the Rocking on the Soil with the brothers. I am Eugene McIntosh, like my player partner T said, one half of the illest independent sports media outlet, not only in Chicago, not only in the Midwest, but in the whole entire U.S. and probably in the whole entire world as we speak.
Let them know.
Yeah, man. It's Wednesday. It's our last day of 2020 on the soil. What's in it for the Black People Media Studios? Happy to kick 2020 to the curb and come back in 2021 ready to do it bigger than we did it in 2020, man.
Absolutely. It is the last Wednesday of the year, or the last show of the year. That's it for, on the soil in 2020, man. It feels like it breezed by, bruh.
It did, man. It did with all the...
When was the first show? September?
I'm thinking it was August, but August, September, however many months, weeks, days it's been, it's definitely breezed by. It's been a fun ride so far. Of course, it's just the beginning.
Got to get my timeline together. It's like, okay, was it October?
It wasn't October. It was either August or September. I'm going to just go with the beginning of the first week of September. Maybe before, because my birthday was in September, and I feel like we had been here for at least a month before my birthday. So I'm going to go with August, man.
I'm going to ride with you on that one.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, though, man, how you feeling today, man? What's the temperature today, bro? What's on your mind?
Man, let's
jump into it.
Man, it's all good, man. I'm just happy to be here, man. Like I said, looking back, 2020 was a tough year for a lot of us, but, we persevered. And we're going to continue to prosper. We're going to continue to flourish. And we're going to get it cracking in 2021. That's my temperature right now. I'm good, man. I'm feeling good, man. I know it's, black people, man, we superstitious and shit. I know people talking about making black eyed peas and all this type of stuff.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, I ain't really about that. But whatever floats your boat, go ahead. Whatever you feel like you need to do to flush that.
You're not gonna make sure you get your black eyed peas.
I mean, whatever, man. I'm not eating no black eyed peas. I feel like this ain't the Underground Railroad days, man. I'm not about to be eating that. I don't like black eyed peas no way. So I'm gonna just do me, continue to do me. If the black eyed peas need to go in the air to clear the air, I'd rather burn some sage or burn my stick, but however people need to do to get rid of
whatever
that negative
floats
energy,
your boat.
yeah, go ahead, rock with it. I'm rocking with you. And like I said, man, I'm ready to get it going, man. What about you, brother?
Same, man. Of course, I'm reflecting on the year, man, looking at the positive things. Definitely, trying to get a fast start, not a fast start, but a strong start off to 2021. I definitely had the conversation with moms about the black eyed peas and the gumbo and all of that. My mom definitely, make sure you get your black eyed peas, and I had to tell.
Don't wash on New Year's.
I don't think I had black eyed peas at the top of 2020, but I feel like financially, I may do it again. Let's run that back. Whatever I did at the top of 2020, let's do it again for 2021,
That's what I'm saying. Whatever floats your boat, make it happen, man.
Absolutely, man. But other than that, like I said, man, I was actually thinking of some of my favorite sports moments over the last few months, and it tripped me out. I'm like, COVID kind of threw a wrench in it because my favorite sports moments over the last year or so come from like the White Sox. Yeah, I mean, other than that, it's like, man, COVID really kind of threw a wrench in everything. Other than that Mike Tyson fight, what big moments were there outside of COVID in 2020?
I mean, I feel like later on in the show we can do our year-end review, whether that's
what's in the running. Like,
I mean, I wanted to do like our favorites, the bigs on the soil favorite moments of the year. Maybe not sports moments because, like you said, they've been kind of limited. We've still been adjusting to the way sports are now being covered. So, I mean, it's still an adjustment. So, I really don't have too many of those like we would have.
I've been thinking about that as well. And I honestly, bro, I totally miss it. And I think admitting that to myself kind of helped me understand what else is going on in my head.
There you go.
It's like, damn, I don't have that like I've had it the last 5 years as far as an outlet. So yeah, man, I totally miss it. Shout out to our boy YBTV.
What YB get on, man?
Man, he sent us the clip on Instagram and said how much he missed the coverage.
Yeah.
You know, this week we would have been knee deep in Christmas tournament coverage. You know, the day after Christmas it would have been busting. Yeah.
We probably we still be at
the, I'm saying,
right now we would be at the Proviso West tournament. Right.
Or we'd be heading there right after this.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So definitely a huge void that COVID has caused, you know, as far as no high school sports being, you know, played so far. Who knows if they're going to try to get a season in. I keep seeing different things. Every time I look, I see coaches saying, we're not going to have a season. Then I see IHSA saying, we're going to make sure we have a season in the spring or whatever.
Shout out to all the shorties, man, out there, you know, holding on. I know when I was in high school, the only reason I went to Mount Carmel was to play sports. Like, I looked forward to all of our seasons. That's what got me through. Other than us being in the lunchroom, you know, riding each other morning, noon, and evening.
Of course.
The sports is what got me through high school. And I could only imagine if I couldn't play my senior season of basketball at Mount Carmel, and my senior season of baseball at Mount Carmel, I probably would have been so distraught.
Yeah, devastated. As I know a lot of, not just, you know, student athletes are, but the people that put those things together, the coaches, the ADs, all of that has kind of just been thrown in you know, into in the chaos over the last few years, over the last year, you know?
Yeah, but I'm with you, man. I've been seeing a lot of back and forth. You know, I think they're still trying to have a football season. And, I mean, I know college football, like the SWAC and all of those teams, they're coming back. They're supposedly coming back like the end of January to have like an 8-game season. It's going to be weird, man. But we've been used to it. We saw the NBA start back up in July, August or whenever it started. And we saw Major League Baseball start up have
a 60-game season.
Yeah, so nothing, you know, everything is everything right now. I just want these people, you know, all the kids that are missing out on their livelihoods and what they love to do. Just want them to get their last crack at it before they move on to that next stage in life, man. And it becomes real.
I still feel like we need to have you know, dive deeper into that conversation on the soil. We still have to put together that panel and bring, you know, the coaches, you know, together and see what the plan is moving forward, because I don't think that we can just jump back into it and say, okay, now we're going to play basketball.
Man, you saw how
Well, you know what was crazy in Indiana? If, you know, you look at some of the pictures, that a lot of guys were playing in masks, you know, so.
I tried to hoop when we were allowed back at Lake Shore, but the only way you could come in and play is if you had a mask on. And we played 2 or 3 times, and I couldn't do it. It was uncomfortable. It wasn't, I mean, the breathing and all of that, I mean, that was secondary, even though that's probably the most important, because it's like when you, especially with those cloth masks, there are sports masks that are made for you to, you know, run, breathe, and do that type of thing. But most of us were wearing these cloth masks. And, you know, when you're running and sweating, they get sweaty.
Wet.
And then it's like you're breathing.
I experienced that in the snow yesterday. The mask got soaked, and it didn't, you know, it was terrible.
Yeah, because when you're not supposed to breathe in what you breathe out. So that in itself was a no for me. But then every time I shot the ball, the mask came up all in my eyes.
You got a hand in your face.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. The extra defense. And so it's like, no, I couldn't do it. So I can only imagine. But the kids, I mean, they want to hoop, man.
I know they thirsty.
And they'll probably do whatever restrictions or whatever we need to do to get the ball rolling, then, hey, make it happen. We need to hoop. But, yeah, it's crazy how you look at these states surrounding Illinois, and they were getting it in, and, there were different stipulations for all these different cities and states. But
And they really were giving, well, probably are still giving J.B. Pritzker hell. Every time he was doing the press conferences on a daily basis, taking questions on high school sports when he was giving reports on how many people were dying on a daily basis. So at some point, I feel like we are going to have to, keep it in perspective. And maybe, is it fair to say, well, I know it's fair to say, but is it easy? It's not as easy to embrace the fact that sports are not the most important thing right now still.
Depends on who you're talking to.
Depends on who you're talking to. I'm sure there's ways to scratch the itch. You know what I mean? If you absolutely have to get on the court.
100%. But, yeah, I'm interested to see coming in 2021 how they implement the basketball season, what IHSA is going to do, the football season, just like I said. You see the kids when they interview the kids, whether it's Wheaton, Warrenville, South, or whether it's Simeon or Mount Carmel or whatever set of kids, privileged, underprivileged, they all want to play. It's just something about it, man. It's just something that brings joy. It's like you miss the camaraderie, you miss your friends.
That was a central part of the high school experience, man, whether it just be the students at the school that wanted to come to a game and get it in. You know what I mean? That not being a part of the process as you maturate through high school, it is gonna, it's gonna matter. You know what I mean? It's not something that you can just breeze past and say, oh yeah, the kids, of this generation didn't have that, so they should be okay. No, you know how many memories I have?
What?
From game days.
You heard what Twan said. This is a guy who won a national championship, an NBA championship, played in the All-Star game with Michael Jordan. He said his favorite moments was his senior year at Mount Carmel. It's like you can't obviously you can't relive those days, but imagine not having, like I just said, imagine not having that, the camaraderie and the competition is one thing. Competing is one thing. You know how competitive we are. But the camaraderie of building with your friends. It's cool with me and Twan and Don and all of us. We were in school, and like I said, we be in the lunchroom ragging on each other all day, or we in practice or study hall. But getting on that court, being in the trenches, having each other's backs, me having to keep Don and Twan from, damn near coming to blows, fighting because they were so competitive. They didn't hate each other. They did not like each other, but that was just the competitive nature of what we were doing. And obviously these guys are borderline Hall of Fame pro athletes. But it's like I couldn't imagine if I didn't have those times where I would be now.
Absolutely. You definitely, do a lot of character building in those times.
Man, so only way. It's the only way.
So yeah, we gotta keep our eyes on that situation and make sure that we give it the attention that it deserves, because when it's time to get back to it, I'm personally going to be very excited to get back on the high school beat. You know what I mean?
I missed it, bro.
I feel like it's completely different from the Bulls beat. The other basketball team in town.
Yeah.
It's more personal, but you see how it can go. I mean, you see Iowa, Illinois, you see Talon doing this thing in rotation for the Lakers right now.
Man, one of the things. So one of these days we're gonna get Talon on the on the soil, man. We reached out. Rich Paul and them supposed to hit, whatever the case may be. We're going to get Talon on the soil for you guys. But one of the memories, them Facebook memories that pop up, one of the memories was like 4 years ago when Simeon beat Morgan Park at Morgan Park, and Evan Gilliard was still there. That lets you know how long it was. But Taylor, we interviewed Taylor.
Yeah.
I was holding the camera, and you did the interview. I recorded it.
It was that the one in the background where we were setting it up with Taylor? While we talked to Evan or
no, it was vice versa.
Yeah, okay.
We talked to Taylor while Evan was talking to Cam. Cam was back there with CSN 100.
Okay.
And they were talking to Evan. So after we got through with Taylor, I'm like, you can hear me in the background. I'm like, hey, man, let's go and get Evan. So we took video of Cam and Comcast Sports interviewing Evan. It was cool. I got it. So when we get Taylor on here. We're going to run that.
Flash that back for the
everybody.
people.
Yeah, man. Cool
man.
times. But like you said, so personal, you know, being some of those guys' first times talking on camera.
And, man, that and then when you consider the fact that this is Chicago and we know what it means to cover this beat. You know what I mean? And first of all, it's a whole nother community. You know, like I said, our boy Young Ballers, Michael O'Brien, who gets it from all angles, and there's a few other people, Cam on there. Kenny McReynolds does this thing calling games. It's a family over there. I miss them people, you know?
Man, shout out to YB, man. I'll never forget that New York trip, man. We got to the airport, pull up to the gate, and who we see? YB, and I forgot my boy. I'm bogus for not remembering his name.
Yeah, but
Arlo.
The memories are there though. We're never gonna forget, fam.
That was a great trip. Got a chance to hit the NBA Players Association. Got a chance to hoop it up on the court that them guys play on.
And the Nike Adapts.
The first people to test the Nike Adapt, the electronic shoe.
And you see the Jordan 11 Nike Adapts dropped today on the sneaker app for $5.
I saw somebody talking about, man, Mike, kill the PS5 Jordan prices. Man. So that's what they were talking about?
Yeah, I'm just, $500 Jordans that lace up on their own.
Bro, let me tell you one thing before we go to break. I'm so happy that I'm not a sneakerhead no more. Like, I am a sneakerhead. I'm going to always have a fresh pair of kicks on, but I'm so glad that my days of popping sneaks, because y'all... all these apps, and then y'all post these pictures of, I've been denied again. It's like, boy, I'm not ever getting denied a pair of kicks that I want. Y'all must not. I'm not talking about you specifically. But y'all ain't plugged.
But still though, you know what I mean?
Like the depths you have to go to get a pair of kicks.
Yes.
No way, man. If I want a pair of Kobe's, I'm gonna get a pair of Kobe's, Joe. I'm not about to hit no Nike app that's gonna tell me, oh no, you didn't win a raffle to get, man. What?
If you don't know somebody already, spend a grip on,
then you don't need the kicks.
No. Back then, you used to be able to buy whatever pair of shoes you wanted, without knowing anybody.
Exactly.
That is totally not the case anymore.
Hype beast, man. Y'all ruining the culture, man, all the way around, man.
Oh, this could be a whole other segment. I want us to go into the break, but I told you I got kicks that I bought for $60
that are now on stock.
That's worth hundreds of dollars.
Come on, man.
I don't understand it. I definitely did miss out on a couple of pairs.
I saw you tight.
I need to.
Y'all be so tight. In. Y'all be so mad that y'all miss out on these. It's hilarious to me. Like, y'all be tight. Mars be posting their pictures.
You
Nike sending them the picture like, sorry, you missed the raffle or you've been denied, and it's like, man, y'all that tight. Y'all missed the kicks, bro.
And it's only a select few. It's always like one or two pairs. Like, I actually appreciate the origins and the story behind this kick. I'm not just trying to get a fit off. It's kind of you know what I mean? That's how I am.
Or cop and resell.
Oh no, come on.
Hope you get. All y'all doing that.
I got a couple of pair now that if I sold them, I'd be straight. But
I hope y'all get stuck with them kicks, trying to buy them at a low price and resell them, trying to pay a
shame on you
or something, man. Straight up, man.
Well, hey, we'll be right back on the soil, man. We're not gonna get too mad. We'll be right back.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Dame Lillard, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
Hey, this is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks. You're rocking with the Bigs.
Hey yo, my music is addictive to the user. I let the rush soothe them, they tune in, then I school them. Listen said, homie, this shit ain't real. It's just illusions used to fool men, women, and child to confusion. Start running wild, changing views when niggas think they winning when they losing. Caught up in movements, moving foolish, letting life fool them, betting they life losing, trying to better their life and vice moving. Cruising, grabbing clicks and cruising, bagging chicks and dudes off tips with slick maneuvers. Turn OGs to broke thieves and hungry crooks. Stand sideways, my way giving me funny looks. That's why I hide my money in books. They scared to learn, allergic to words, swerving towards murderous curves. In the dark, working the curve. I'ma still shine cause I'm the light, and I'ma burn to my purpose to serve. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science. Pussy on the brain, T-bone steaks, a pint of dog, light in the jaw. Pushing cane on the paper, writing bars. Lines that similar to scars that run deep. I've been involved in the race since the beginning, running these streets like Kenyans when it was dark with no heat. Used to spar with the stars before I nod to sleep. I hardly speak, it's hard for me. But all I see from the broads and the cars on this dark-end street, parts of me from the heart is hard. And Mars was deep, starving for the part when we would start to eat. Since Marvin argued deep with an armory of harmony, charm in my father's feet. Calm though, alcoholic talking, constantly walking through the valley with his arms on me. I've been here since life in itself, good versus evil in the hood with my people, fight myself. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science. Quiet is kept, my words kept, miners and vets, higher than pilots and jets, behind the sirens and tech, shorties crying out west. It's been a war going on since Osiris and Set, before man acquired the text, written in stone on walls. It's all laws and the signs of commit of how society slept in the eyes of the best. The science of life and dying, plus the desires of flesh. We lost while we floss, the boss signing the checks, while we off buying the best. Diamond shines on our necks, wet with blinding effects, the kind that remind me of blinding baguettes. In a timepiece, then a timely, make time freeze, live and direct in 60 seconds. Time me, it's hardly a heartbeat. A heartbeat, the thing that separates my mind and my flesh, rewinding my steps to where I first started. Oh God, knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science. Knowledge is power, ignorance is bliss. It's the wisdom that shines through the visions of the mist. The main challenge is to maintain the balance between your soul and the body, and control is the science.
We are back on the soil.
Hey, bro, that was Mick Luda, man. You like, look, man. 95% of the music that you're gonna hear on the soil at this point, until we get some new heat, is gonna be Mick Luda. You're gonna hear some tragedy. Who is I Am God West in the comments. You're gonna hear some Tone Stanza. But the majority of the music is going to be the great MLski Mick Luda, man. My boy, who drops nothing but classic material. I got so much heat on deck. So shout out to everybody out there that's requesting the Mick Luda. I see, man, can we hear the Out West with it? Some people talking about that's their favorite song. Mark Aguirre said, Mark was like, man, who is this, man? I love this song. Well, y'all got to send me this. So it's like, hey, man, shout out to the great MLski, man.
Definitely dig, we're gonna address that. I feel like you said we got some new heat on the way. I'm looking forward to making the music more of a focal point of the demo.
It's a must, bro. It's a must.
Yo, but with that said, Gino, and I know we got some Cub fans in the comments.
I was gonna wait until because I wanted to bring that conversation in the right way.
You want to wait to talk about the Cubs?
I wanted to bring some.
I've been waiting.
I wanted to
What's
bring
the rationale behind it?
I just wanted to bring the two. It was two Jed Hoyer. I wanted people to understand. I wanted people to hear Jed Hoyer's explanation of what happened with Yu Darvish in the trade, and then I wanted the fans to hear him talk directly to them. So I mean, if I don't know if we queued up right now to play the video. I know it's some extra steps we got to go through to play the video. So. Maybe we'll come back to the Cubs after the next break. We can talk Bulls, though, because I see people talking about the Bulls got the first W last night. Yeah, thank you, T.
Let's talk about it, because I felt like you had an interesting tweet last night that I saw this morning saying how much trash hoop there it was last night.
Not just last night.
Just overall.
First part of the season.
But I feel like last night especially, I couldn't even watch it. I ended up, what did I do? I watched If Bill Street Can Talk, fam. I threw on a movie, dog.
Okay, that was a good one. That was a good one, though.
But to your point, it's definitely been through the first 3 or 4 games of this season. But I feel like I'm having Groundhog Day, deja vu kind of experience, because I know that we said this last season, looking at 130 to 115, 135 to 120, 140 to 100.
Way too many 30, 40, and 50-point blowouts in the first.
What is going on with the league today?
First off, bro, I think the NBA is trash. I'm a huge fan. I love the NBA.
Exactly, but for why?
It's trash. First of all, because it's a 3-point contest. That irks me like nothing else in NBA basketball is the 3-point contest. Every shot down the court is a 3, man. It extremely blows me that this is part of why the game is whack. Because when I saw Thomas Bryant shoot a 3, fam, stop it, man. It's ridiculous, man.
It's totally ridiculous, but it's really the norm now.
That's why the NBA games are trash, bro. Shout out to Rick Gray. I know your league pass work, right?
Yes, sir.
League pass.
Ching, ching.
I'm going through the league pass. I'm going game. I'm like, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see the Hawks. If D Rose wasn't on the Pistons, there's no way I would watch and I love Trae Young. Yeah. There's no way I would watch the Hawks and the Pistons. The Kings and the Nuggets, cool.
But even that one,
Thank you. Then I was scrolling games and I'm like, man, I don't want to watch any of this, man.
I didn't want to watch the Spurs. I didn't want to watch the Sixers, bro.
The Grizzlies and the Nets. It's like, especially when KD and Kyrie ain't playing, it's like.
I watch Devin Booker. I enjoy watching the Suns and Devin Booker.
The Suns and the Pelicans. I'm like, I watch this because it's on TNT, and I know Chuck and Shaq and them, they'll entertain me at halftime. I love Dev. I love Dev. CP3 is cool. Zion, I don't mind watching Zion, but no, I don't really
want the overwhelming majority, bro.
Tough, bro. Like, the NBA is such a trash product right now, bro. I'm disgusted, actually.
Let's focus, speaking of disgusted, let's focus on the Bulls versus Washington Wizards game from last night.
When I saw the Washington Wizards wanted to lose more than the Bulls did, I turned it off.
And that's you know how I know I went to sleep watching I watched the Bulls game last night because I woke up ready to go tit for tat with Bulls fans on Twitter.
Me too. Oh, boy.
Everybody was mad at Charles Barkley saying the Bulls are probably the worst team in basketball, and everybody was saying,
"Ain't no probably."
Did you just see the Wizards last night?
Yeah.
Here's what's funny. Shout out to my bootleg cable. I'm watching the Washington Wizards broadcast of the Chicago Bulls game.
Okay.
So I got a chance to hear what the Wizards announcers thought. And Drew Gooden ended up being
Drew Gooden is Drew
Gooden is a Wizard.
I love that. I love to hear like they have Doug Christie in Sacramento, Neek is in Atlanta.
Gee, as soon as you hear it's like, who is that?
Yep, it's the next player.
Period. And it was great. It really was the best thing about the game, watching it yesterday.
So what was he on?
Bruh, first of all, he hates the Wizards, obviously.
Love it.
But he hates the Bulls even more. For half of the fourth quarter, this was what he said. You know what? I'm not even tripping about tonight. The Bulls probably better than the Wizards tonight.
Bro.
But they're not better than the Wizards overall. He was like, he refuses to believe that the Wizards aren't better than this Bulls team. And this is when they were down 13.
And remember what we said when we went through the list of games. Yeah, they're going to win one of the games they play Washington back-to-back. Of course they're going to win one.
Exactly.
Washington is going to come out tomorrow and beat the Bulls by a dub. And then let me tell you something else. Russell Westbrook had a triple-double. Boy, that was the worst triple. That was some of the worst hoop I ever seen in my life.
Turnovers?
Damn, come on.
It was like you said. It was some of the worst hoop.
Man, he had a triple-double. Man, me and you probably could have had a triple-double, man. Like, boy, that was some of the worst basketball.
That jig is up. The Russell Westbrook getting a triple-double jig is up, bro.
I can't go.
It really means nothing.
I can't go.
But what do you say to the idea that, are the Bulls really the worst team in basketball?
The Bulls are the worst team in basketball because of the storied history, and we have not come even nearly close to returning back to glory. Maybe the 1 or 2 years with Pudini. 1 or 2. 1 specifically, but maybe 2. The 1 year they overachieved with Nate Robinson beating the Brooklyn Nets in the... Stop it, man.
No need to even mention that.
Trash. The Bulls have been trash since 1998. They're 30th. There are only 30 teams in the league, bro. They're number 30 in most categories. So what? They scored 115.
I think it's as simple as just looking at the makeup of the roster compared to who they play on a nightly basis. Like, I feel like every single night the other team has the best player on the floor.
Even the other night in the last 2 games, just say the last 2 nights. Golden State's trash. They got the first pick of the draft. Or did they get the first? James Wiseman. Who was first?
Anthony Edwards from Minnesota.
So they had a number 2 pick, which means they were trash last year. No Klay Thompson, no Draymond Green. They still got Steph. They still got Andrew Wiggins. Game over.
Period.
Game
exactly.
Over. The Wizards. They drafted Dino, the guy that everybody thought the Bulls were going to draft. They still got Russ. They still got Bradley Beal. Game over. We don't even have to go any farther. You saw your boy Bertrands, the other guy.
I did.
Shooting threes from everywhere.
Yeah.
Rui Hashimura from Gonzaga. He didn't even play.
Man. And I feel like I want to like some of these players, but I'm wondering how long before Donovan shakes it up at this point. The conversation that I saw on Twitter that I felt made the most sense is Kobe has to go to the bench, right? Like, is this starting point guard experiment already? Do we already know the conclusion?
So Kobe goes to the bench for who?
Sato.
So Billy Donovan said something interesting the other night. Well, the other afternoon before the game against Golden State. And because Joe Phillips, shout out to Joe from, where's Joe from? The Crusader,
yep.
Shout out to our boy Joe Phillips. Joe asked him about, and it's crazy because when Joe asked Billy Donovan, would we see more of Zach LaVine at the 1? Because Zach LaVine's pick and roll game is decent because of the threat that he is to score off of the pick and roll. Now, this goes back to the conversation me and you always have about the game of basketball. I love saying that. That's like Michael Jordan was probably
the game of basketball.
The game, and then Kobe just, the game of basketball.
Yeah, it's the game, yeah.
But the game of basketball. Back then the Tim Hardaway days and the elite point guard days, point guards, they used the pick and roll to create a mismatch, to get into the lane and to create for the big man. Nowadays, the pick and roll is not even really a pick and roll. It's a pick and pop.
Yeah, it's a pick and stay right there.
The big man rolls, he pops to the 3.
It's not even, they set the pick on the 3-point line. Fam just stays there. At least that's what Wendell Carter Jr. does on it.
We watched Karl Anthony Towns because remember after the game we asked Jim Boylan, man, how much of a relief is it to see a guy like Karl Anthony Towns who could score down low at will? He posted up in that game. He played 37 minutes.
I remember
and
that
posted up one time.
Yep.
He shot 9 threes, bro. He made 3, which is 33%. And if you're shooting 33%, that's like shooting 50% from the field.
Take him.
He said, "Oh, I fucking love it." He's like a guy like that who can just pound you down low, and he doesn't even think about going down low. I couldn't have it any other way on the other side of the court. So it's a pick and pop game. Most of these guys, they don't even set the pick. They just act like it because everyone. Yeah. So Zach LaVine, the threat of Zach LaVine on the pick and roll as a scorer, again, Zach can score at a high clip. So the threat of him coming off that pick, creating a mismatch with a bigger guy, giving him a dribble jab, pull up three. I think Zach might take some of the toughest shots in the league, but he can make them. But when you're playing for the Bulls, when it doesn't matter, if you make them, cool. If you don't, that's cool too, because he's still going to shoot 45% from the field. But when he's such a threat coming off the pick and roll or the pick and pop to score the ball at 6'4", 6'5", versus Kobe, who's played one season at North Carolina. If anybody watches North Carolina, Roy Williams, they run and gun. There's really no,
and it's like three guards in that.
Thank you, man. So Kobe didn't have any experience. Me and Reese, shout out to La Reese Trotter. He's in the comments now. Reese has been standing on this for 2 years. Me too. You cannot learn to play the point guard position in the NBA. You have to have this in your arsenal already. Now you can grow, but you have to have point guard skills, point guard IQ, point guard ability when you get to the NBA. You can't get to the NBA and then they're going to say, oh, you know what? Point guard. Now we need you to be a point guard. Kobe looks trash at the one. The other day when he got to play, so back to Billy Donovan, and I'm going to let you go after this. Billy Donovan said, hey, man, the point guard is only the guy that brings the ball up the court and passes it and then does
I saw that.
And I agree with him because
he called him a traffic guard.
Yeah. You like a crossing guard. You just direct it. He's like, we know Kobe White has a Joe. That's not an easy job to know. Back to what we were saying, you have to know, like LaMelo. LaMelo is gonna succeed because it's in his makeup. You got to know where Gordon Hayward likes to come off the pick and receive the ball. The
vision, all of that.
You got to have
into
that.
It. Yeah.
Kobe does not have that. Kobe is at his best when he's looking to score the ball. Don't have him in his mind preconceived thoughts about getting people involved. You let him make the plays as the game goes.
I feel like they're trying to bottle that up. They're like, okay, we want you to look to score, but not really. It's trash. Exactly, and I feel like that's going to be hard for him to grasp because that's, like you said, not in his game. But do you remember who I thought was the best comparison for Kobe after last season? I thought it was Bobby Jackson.
Wow.
The scorer off the bench kind of role player.
That's right now that's 100% accurate.
And it's like, come on.
Because he can score the ball, no doubt.
I feel like in that role he can stride.
Yeah.
But as long as he's starting, you're gonna be looking for a facilitator in that starting five.
So when you say throw Sato at the one,
and I'm not saying Sato because
there you go.
He's that dude. You know what I mean?
Or Archie.
Absolutely
not.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to diss Archie because
you do.
I appreciate
Archie can ball.
Yeah, exactly. I appreciate him, but yeah, he should not be in heavy rotation in your lineup.
Right.
Sato really shouldn't either, but he's the best option after Kobe.
I feel like Sato is solid. Sato's not going to do nothing dumb. Sato can make the open shot. Sato is 6'6".
He's the epitome of mid.
He's if mid was a if you could go to the dictionary right now and look up the definition of mid, Sato's picture would be right next to that. I agree with you 100%, T. But this is the cards we've been dealt, man. This is why the Bulls are the worst team in the NBA.
What about this? What we've seen Zach LaVine play point guard. What if they just switched? And yes, it was a reason why it was like the last case scenario. But what if they switched Zach and Kobe's roles on this team?
Meaning what? Zach dribbles the ball up the court.
Letting Zach be the primary ball handler.
I don't think that would really make a difference. I just feel like you said, the offensive structure right now sucks. Like,
it's like, who are you running the offense through?
Come on, man. What point? Just look at around the league. And when I'm not comparing Kobe to Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard, Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, all the top point guards in the league. But what do? They score.
You see what Trey Young did.
He's gonna get 11. He's gonna get 11 assists because he has the ball all the time.
Steph Curry 24 in the fourth.
He ain't necessarily looking to dime people up. Come over and set people. You're gonna get those 9 and 10 assists because you're handling the ball. You have the highest usage rate on the team. It's not necessarily you trying to be Chris Paul, because Chris Paul don't even get 11 assists. But Chris Paul is the only PG in the league who plays the way that the consummate point guard of yesteryear plays.
That we grew up understanding the point guard position.
Exactly. That's far gone now. Point guard score the ball. Teams are scoring 125 a night. We need Kobe White to score a dub a night, whether that's on 13 shots and he's 8 for 13, or whether it's 20 shots and he's 8 for 20.
Yo, I feel like one of the problems with the Bulls is that second team is so much more smarter than the starters. I feel like Otto on the bench, Sato, all are better decision makers coming off the bench. And you're talking about Wendell Carter Jr. and Zach and Laurie, who is playing sharp, I feel.
Laurie?
Yeah.
Laurie has been on point so far. He's still kind of soft. He's always getting her some type of injury. I don't know what that's about.
It's a little fragile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But as far as like efficiency-wise, offensive efficiency, shooting the ball, I mean, I like what Billy does in making sure that Laurie is the first option out the gate.
Yeah.
Because like we said, Zach can get his
and that's
at
who
any
they
time.
probably running. Yeah.
So that's smart.
He's shooting 48% from three. It's early, but
remember what I asked for Laurie for this year. I want to see 20 and 8 on 45% from the field. So far, so good. Now I want to see it down the line when the games get competitive, when guys start to ramp it up, when things start to matter more. I want to see Laurie keep up this high clip. But that's one of the pluses from this season right now. Billy Donovan has done a great job of getting Laurie out to a quick start. I feel like now that's something Jim Boylan just didn't have in his arsenal. I think he had obviously he had a different plan
for Laurie. Yeah.
But that's great with Billy Donovan. Wendell Carter, I still think he's a bum.
And honestly, I don't want to say that you're wrong, but to start the season, he completely is taking steps in the wrong direction. I think he's too in his head. Like I told you, if it's anybody affected by the Jim Boylan era, I thought it was Wendell Carter Jr. and Larry Marketing. And Wendell, I feel like, is going to have to continue to look in the mirror, G, and battle with self. I mean, that's where his battle is. It's like, bro, get back to how you learned the game. Get back to what you embraced as a player, because I don't think he's playing the same game he played that when he was at Duke, or you know what I mean, or when he was in high school. He doesn't look like a person that loves the game.
This is Wendell we're talking about?
Yeah.
But this goes back to what we say. When you got a guy who should be in his senior year at Duke, think about it.
But do you think he's been frustrated? He's been super frustrated, I feel like.
Why? Of course he has, because the game is passing him by. Now he wants to shoot. This is another thing. It's like, fam, you're 6'10", and you don't have a jump hook. You're 6'10", you don't have a 15-footer. At least I haven't seen it. Even with this new Billy Donovan offense. They don't throw the ball down to Wendell on the block for him to jump hook somebody.
And you know that's always what I'm expecting is from the start of the game. I'm like, let's go get some easy baskets. Can we throw it down to Wendell and go up 4-0? No, never.
Fam, does Bam Adebayo shoot threes?
Absolutely not, G.
Oh, okay.
He embraces his name being Bam, right?
Oh, okay. Does, I don't know, Willie Cauley-Stein shoot threes?
Absolutely not. Joel Embiid, no.
Joel Embiid will shoot the three, but Joel Embiid will get 30.
Got work down there.
Come on, man. You don't have to shoot the three just because you have to shoot the three, because.
But yeah, you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
That's Huff. And
Did you see what Rondo said?
Yeah, Rondo said, hey, man, if Miles going to shoot 9 of them bitches, I'm going to shoot 5 of them too. If Miles going to be 2 for 9. That's what I told somebody today. They like, yeah, G, you need a 10-day. I'm like, bro, I can make 2 for 10 in the NBA. Call it what you want. Miles is shooting 27, 31, 32%, and they're getting away with it. That's why the NBA is trash right now because of the 3-point contest on a nightly basis. I went from game to game to game. Every time down the court, it's a 3-point. It was just like, okay, man, let me find something else.
Just look at the 3-point stats a game. Teams are shooting 35, 43.
Stop it, man. Like Flo said when we came in. The Milwaukee set the record. What they make, 43s?
And Giannis didn't hit a single.
29 threes.
29.
No, didn't they make 30?
No, I said that would have made 30 if Giannis
would have hit one, right. Mm-hmm. And they're right, because they beat Houston's record of 27.
Correct.
29 threes. Now, how many did they shoot, though, Flo? Because I know they didn't shoot 50%. And if they did, that's 63s, bro. You shoot between 80 and 90 field goal attempts per game. If that many.
It's like, how many possessions are you getting?
Come on, T. We can do the math.
So I'm
There's
saying.
12 minutes in a quarter. There are 24 seconds in each shot clock. So just say there are 3 possessions. How many threes?
They made 29 out of 51.
51.
So they did shoot over 50%.
But
they still shot 53s, which is how many field goal attempts did they have? So let's do the math, T. If it's a 24-second shot clock, there's
92.
Exact. 50 out of 90. So you shot more threes than 2-point field goals.
And then the analytic nerds will come.
You shot more threes than 2.
Stop it.
Out of 90 shots.
Stop it.
Yeah, 29 of they 51 made baskets with threes.
That is today's NBA in a nutshell.
Now let's do the math. 24 seconds in a shot clock. They're 12-minute quarters. Just say they get three possessions per minute. 3 times 12, that's 36, 72, 144. There are 144 possessions in the NBA game. Split that in half. That's 72 possessions per team.
That's like shooting all threes, bro. That's like shooting all threes. Hey, Terrell, my brother, we used to shoot all threes on the game.
Hey, man.
That's how you got the 200 in the old NBA lives. Just 5 all the threes in the world with Peja. That is today's NBA.
With that being said, the Bulls play the Washington Wizards tomorrow.
They play them tomorrow. They are 1-2.
The Wizards are 0-4. No, the Bulls are 1-3. The Wizards are 0-4.
Yes.
So, hey, man, maybe we can pull out back-to-back victories because it's only going to get tougher and tougher as the season goes. So, hey, man, you take the W's how they come. You play who's in front of you.
Definitely taking the W.
The Wizards wanted to lose
7, right? That's the first win after 7 we call, right?
Yeah.
So, take them how they come. Better get them while they hot because it's getting ugly as the season progresses. So, with that being said, man, we're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, Cubs fans been on Jed Hoyer's head for the last 24 hours. We're going to play some video, and we're going to talk about this Yu Darvish trade and which way the Cubs are trending, man.
You see me shaking my head, fam. I can't wait to talk about it.
And this is from a Sox fan, man. You on the soil with the Bigs. We'll be back in a quick minute.
Hold up, man. You know what I'm saying? So I be telling these niggas, man, shit in the game, man. Shit
Tell 'em,
real.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
You're listening to The Bigs with Eugene, McIntosh, and Terrence Tomlin.
He's bare-chested,
right here on What's in It for the Black People Meet.
Chip on my shoulder, big as a boulder. From all the years I've been doubted, left out, and simply looked over like niggas ain't see the massive potential. I see murder weapons where all you see is a pad and a pencil. I do for self, I learned you worth more when you ask for nothing. Thoughts of killing shit, my brain's a weapon of mass destruction. Nuclear thoughts lead to atomic verses. Me and Max attack with a common purpose. I stole them niggas, you stole out your mama purses. You bitch niggas been disloyal since KB Toys. The streets gave me poise, no Melvins, just a bunch of Rodneys and baby boys. Listen, I'm not the one that you should try your luck with. Get abducted, fucked up, and then left in a rusted bucket, biatch. Sick train of thought, only y'all can conduct it. Just when they thought I was dusted and not a touch, I adjusted, and bounced back like I had Spalding on me. I am God, the clouds open, now the sun's rays is falling on me. To the heavens is calling on me, my shit gon' be elite. Your shit is mystery meat, you say it's beef, but it's all baloney. And fuck these niggas and all they homies, they all is phonies. I'm riding till the wheels fall off this bitch and it's stalling on me. It's alarming these rappers think that we all in the same ballpark. Fuck y'all thought the disrespect is appalling. Standing over the witch's cauldron, concocting murderous plots to help me further my spot. Guess you can say I'm stirring the pot. Heard a lot of niggas think they fucking with the overlord or going overboard. Potent dope that's spoke from vocal cords. The key to success is possessing a gift that can open doors. Therefore the flow is nasty like infected open source. You a knight in rusted armor, equipped with a broken sword. Throwing rocks at a fire-breathing dragon, provoking wars. These is more than rhyming words, my nigga. I'm no thesaurus, I'm too complete for you to compete. My shit deep as the ocean floors. But yet I'm barely scratching the surface. Trust me, it's more to come. So motherfucking hot, I ignore the sun. Imagine if Yvonne Thomas ignored the conscience and chose to abort a son. We never would've got to bear witness to this historic run. It's effortless when I spit these descriptive works of art. I hurt your heart with these harsh realities till it burst apart. It's feeling like I'm about to have a great year. I take the fear and hate here and turn it into Shakespeare, motherfucker. Fuck you mean, bitch.
WIFTBPM.
At that point, we were in great position. I guess I'd go back to probably 2015. I think we built up a farm system that was unbelievable at that point. We were in great position to be aggressive, and we've done that for unbelievable at that point.
quick, man. Let us having a little technical difficulty, but we're about to run it back. We want you guys to hear Jed Hoyer's take on what happened with the Yu Darvish trade.
I guess I'd go back to probably 2015. I think we built up a farm system that was unbelievable at that point. We were in a great position to be aggressive, and we've done that for 6 consecutive years. We've been as aggressive as possible with prospects, with money. I think early in this run, in the first 3 years of this run, it was when we had a lot of these guys as pre-arb players, it was incredibly successful. And you look at it, we won 3 NLCSs, we won a World Series. The last 3 years, as those guys have gotten into arbitration, have been less successful. I still think winning, tying for the division, winning the wild card in 2018 and winning the division last year. I think those are really good accomplishments, but I still feel like, given the investment in prospects and frankly, given the financial investment, we were over the luxury tax the last 2 years. We've been as aggressive as possible for this group for the last 6 years. And I sort of alluded to this in my opening press conference. At some point you have to have one eye on the present. You have to have one eye on the future. So, we're a big market team. And with that, we don't get extra draft picks like every other team in our division. At some point you have to have one eye on the future, and you have to make some moves. As you get towards the end of a window, you have to make some moves that that have that eye on the future. So as far as our direction, I think we're going to have a really competitive team next year. I think Zach Davies is an excellent major league pitcher. He was fifth in ERA in the National League last year. 4 of the last 5 years, he's been really good. We have a lot of really good players, but do we need to make some moves with the future in mind after 6 years of every single move being directed on the present? Yes, I think that's the prudent thing to do. It's something we've talked about for several years. Something we haven't done, and something that we kept pushing, and we kept trading more prospects, and we kept spending more money on this team. And so we're at that time right now. And I guess that's what I would say is, are we going to be competitive? Absolutely. But are we going to have an eye on the future and try to make sure that we, continue to bolster our farm system and make sure that we can build a future that is as bright as the last 6 years that we just went through? That's our goal.
Hey, Jed. Man. I honestly, Joe, that was like a blast from the past, bruh. Is that Jim Hendry, bruh?
So are you calling it fluff?
I'm not calling it fluff. I actually think this is they're executing a plan. But the plan doesn't really coincide with reality. The reality is this is the team that just won the NL Central and would just off back if they brought the same team back from last year, would be favorites to do it again. Instead, they trade their best pitcher, bro. And I make a big thing out of not looking at things at the face. We dig a little deeper. Last year, Yu Darvish was really the only thing
he was the Cubs MVP.
Yeah. And what did they get back for him?
They got Zach Davies in return, who's a starting pitcher. Zach Davies is definitely a good pitcher. He's not Yu Darvish of the last year and a half.
Yeah, and especially at that Padres staff, he's like the outcast.
But he's good. Let's not knock Zach Davies because Yu Darvish could have been the Cy Young winner. Zach Davies is definitely decent in return. But it's the other 4 guys.
But you trade Yu Darvish
without
looking for pitching?
No, you trade Yu Darvish as a salary dump, bro.
Which is even more embarrassing.
Hey, man.
Which is even more embarrassing.
The rich don't stay rich by spending their bread, bro. You know my famous saying for the last 2 years, man. Every time you come into Wrigley, they've turned Wrigleyville into Rickettsville, bruh.
Absolutely.
They spent $1 billion on that team. They purchased the team for $900 million, and then they rebuilt Wrigleyville for another. They spent $2 billion, bro. You think they not trying to get that back?
Look, and then they also started a TV station that nobody wanted, but then on top of that, but this is the Chicago Cubs we're talking about. I know they probably want us to. I see you.
Oh, I'm right. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, bro. You know I got one.
This is the Chicago Cubs we're talking about.
Well, so what are you saying?
I don't want to spend too much time talking about the money they've spent because I know they're swimming in money.
Of course you do.
No matter what, that stadium is filled.
It wasn't this year.
For the first time ever.
It's not going to be next year.
For the first time ever, though. This is not for the first time ever, though. I see. And this.
Hey, let me stop you right here.
I'm worried about the things we don't know.
Let me stop you right there before you continue.
Okay.
How many billionaires do you know?
Personally, I shook Tom Ricketts' hand.
Me too. We partied with him. We popped some bottles with him.
Yeah, but yeah, none.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Flo, get on the mic. How many billionaires do you know?
You said how many millionaires?
Billionaires.
Billionaires with a B. Oh, man. I don't know any personally. I've worked for a couple, but I don't know any personally.
Dope.
Anybody else out? Is Serafina back there? Serafina, get on. Come on. Get on the mic. Come on. I need to ask you. Serafina, how many billionaires do you know?
I don't know any personally.
Is anybody in the hallway?
Nope.
I don't know any billionaires, bruh. We don't know any billionaires, man.
Exactly. But you know what we do know? We know few broke mugs. You know what I mean?
Now, how many broke mugs do you know?
I know a few, which is why the Cubs stuff first of all, it's very familiar. But then at the same time, it's making me scratch my head because I know these dudes ain't
What's
broke,
making
man.
you scratch your head, man?
Them acting broke. Them acting like they're the Kansas City
like
Royals.
Small market team. Well, Jed, he alluded to that. And he says, I know we're a big market team, but at a certain point, when you're coming to the end of your window, which we all know this is, then we got to switch things up. I can't re-implement the plan that we came in when him and Theo started 9 years ago. We can't implement that plan going forward because that plan has been done and done over, and practically it doesn't work anymore. So we got to look.
But you want to know why this is ringing hollow, I feel like, to most Cubs fans, is because we spent the last 3 or 4 years begging them to do something to this roster. Like they was acting broke before the pandemic. They was hiding their hands before the pandemic.
They had Theo hands tied behind his back.
Yeah, and really now it kind of makes sense on why he got out of here the way he did.
He smelled it.
But to the issue that they've had the last 3 or 4 seasons, really since they won the World Series, bro, they have not addressed any roster issues. They put all their apples into the basket that these guys that just won the World Series for me are going to continue to grow and continue to have us in position to battle for a World Series for the next 5-6 years. That wasn't the case. But see, I feel like you have to say that Cubs management completely overvalue
100%.
their talent.
100%.
And I know this is looking back and being able to look at it in retrospect. But the Cubs probably should have started making moves after that 2016 season. Like Kyle Schwarber, a guy who they just let go for nothing.
Right.
They probably could have traded him after the World Series.
Well, that was a Theo guy, man. Theo wanted to stand on the fact that his guys were going to come through, maybe not as soon as we thought, because they achieved the goal in record time. So we saw a 21-year-old Albert Almora Jr. We saw a 21-year-old Javier Baez. We saw a 21-year-old Addison Russell. We saw a 21-year-old Kyle Schwarber be a major part of that championship team. So those were Theo guys, and those were their guys. So they're like, nah, we're gonna give them an extra leg or two and give them the chance to become who we thought they were. Sorry, no more Albert Almora Jr., no more Kyle Schwarber. Addison Russell was gone last year.
But don't forget, no more Eloy, too. Yeah, I mean, they to get in this position, they had a few fumbles,
But that was one of the things about, like we just said, the trade, getting Zach Davies is cool. But it's the other 4 guys when you feel like, okay, well, where's the Eloy? The guarantee that this guy is going to be a pro in a year or two and be a part of everything going forward. And that's not there. So, and then, Jed can talk about all of the things. Obviously, there was no single A ball. There was no minor league ball this year. So, how could you grade these guys? You could only go off of what the scouts were telling you,
highlights,
or some mini piece of tape that you had,
piece of hope,
or what you saw back in one of the kids from Panama, like on some back road, type of demo. If there really was no way to see the upside of these guys, one of them is 17, 2 of them are 18, one of them is 20. 2 outfielders, 2 shortstops. It's like, what are we doing here? So obviously, man, you giving Yu Darvish up on the downside. He got like 3 years left. It was a $59 million salary dump. San Diego took most. They took all of that, most of it, or all of it.
They just gave him Yu Darvish, though, right? Basically.
Yeah. But again, they're trying to rebuild what they're doing. Now, Jed did say.
I'm glad you called it a rebuild because remember.
But the NL Central is so trash that they can still be competitive.
But see, now here we go. And really, you brought me back to how I felt this morning, bruh. Why? Here we go. We're still going to be competitive.
I'm not going off that. I'm just telling you what he said.
But this is just a complete regression from what the go. Like now we're going to be competitive.
See, but you got to.
I thought the Cubs were out to win rings.
Yeah. And we're going to, after when we take another break, when we come back, that's the other part of audio I want to play is Jed Hoyer addressing that specifically. Because the fans ain't happy. We've been watching Twitter. We know your brother is the biggest Cubs fan. I can only imagine how he feels. I see my mother talking about Yu Darvish. That's a head scratcher. But to me, it's really not. I understand 100% what they're doing. Like, this is a new regime. Theo came in, did what he came to do, and got out of the jam before these type of situations arose, and he had to be a part of it. Like, no, I'm not going to be a part of tearing this thing down or whatever words you want to use.
And we'll get into it after this break, but we can't, the broader picture of it is the Cubs organization has been cutting like crazy. Like, they cut
100 people in the front office.
The most of any team in baseball.
Period.
Including people that, have been there for years. Of course, you're going to get that when you fire 100 people.
Right.
But what loyalty in this time, with COVID, have they showed to the Cubs are being cheap all around you. It's not just, and I know it's not just on this roster. And the effects of them turning Wrigleyville into Rickettsville is not just on the diamond. Honestly, they are changing this organization, I feel. Like their organization in 2016. And I was emotional this morning. I'm saying the Cubs won that on accident. And I know that's going to piss Cubs fans off. But
why do you say that?
Because of everything that happened afterwards. Like, yes, they had a strong cast of young players.
Right.
But
and of necessary vets.
Yeah, but the plan really was never to put together this LA Dodger situation. It was a money grab. You know what I mean? Like, this, after they won the World Series, baseball became secondary. You know what I mean?
But this is, I don't.
And in baseball, you're happy to get one, period.
Thank you.
But we see that, or at least we thought in 2016 that it was going to go way different than it went.
But back to what you said earlier, the talent. They overvalued the young talent. They spent the money on our boy El Chapo, Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah,
they spent the dub on him for half a season.
But then every year after that, they refused to address any other problem. Like, they refused to address
The leadoff
hitter, the pitching staff.
They signed you Darvish for $126 million.
You're right. They did do that. Yeah, I mean, you give them that, but then they gut their system for Jose. They had to do that after signing Jose Quintana.
Right.
You know what I mean? After gutting their system, which had probably not. I'm not going to put Dylan Cease in it, but probably one of the best players that's going to come from this era. Yeah.
But like you said, T, baseball is like no other sport. You have to mix and match. Everybody ain't gonna be here. Coming down the hatches. Okay, so now Yu Darvish is gone. Victor Caratini was a part of that trade. We know 89% of that is that's his personal guy. San Diego's like, hey, look, man, if we gonna take this guy, we need his pillowcase with him. We need that too. So cool, Vic, great guy. Go on to flourish in San Diego. They're gonna be contending for that NL West title next year with the Dodgers. They'll probably be the favorite to make the wild card again. Fine. Now there are trades about Wilson Contreras coming.
Yeah.
Rumors. Of course, Jed shut that down today.
For the third. Exactly.
Of course, he's going to. You got to shut that down. Yeah, you got to shut that down.
Right out of the Theo handbook.
But, again, if I can trade Wilson Contreras, who's probably top 3 catcher in the league, I should be able to yield a really good return.
At least you hope. I thought the Cubs would get something much more for Yu Darvish, man. The yield for Yu Darvish made me feel like could the White Sox have gotten in on that? Could we have traded the young cat that we had instead of getting Lance Lynn? Could we have gotten Yu Darvish?
Again, I think not you. I think people are downplaying getting Zach Davies in return. Zach Davies is a young guy. He's probably in the NL. He's a top 10 pitcher in the National League since he's been there. Remember, he played for the Brewers. We got to see
Yu Darvish. Is it you?
Of course, he's not the last year and a half.
And that's my thing. I can't go hard.
Did we win
Zach Davies.
Are they gonna win the Central next year with him?
They can win. This is what I'm telling y'all. With a mix and match. Now, this is right now.
Let's see now. Go ahead, because I want you to finish. I want to respond to everything.
This is right now. I'm talking about with this team right now. No, Wilson Contreras back, KB at third, Javi at second. If you find a second baseman, DJ LeMahieu would be great, but you're gonna have to spend some bread, which they're not gonna do. So if you plug Nico or whoever, David Bodie, who you still got, plug them in at second. You still got Riz at first. You still got Willie behind the plate. You still got Jay Hay and right. You still got Happer out there. They just signed Buddy from the Seattle Mariners. They'll probably find a way to sign another outfielder. Yes, they're still competitive for next year. But going back to what y'all are saying, are we just competing or are we trying to win a World Series? And like I said, we're going to address that after the break. But go ahead.
I was saying it's hard for me to go hard for Zach Davies when I know that they traded the best pitcher in their rotation to get him.
Right.
I know that pitcher staff is going to be worse off, even with him there.
But
and I know that Yu Darvish carried them through a 60-game season, granted. But I'm like, okay, if you add on another 75? How many games?
They played 60?
Yeah.
So that would have been another 102.
Yeah, another 102. Am I trusting that team to be competitive? I'm just saying, you sound like everything they've said the last 3-4 years. Yeah, Rizzo's still here, KB still here.
Right.
Those dudes been batting .250 for the last 2 or 3 seasons.
No, not the last year. They were trash.
Well, KB.
But KB's also, and again, you know how we go. I'm not making excuses for no grown man making millions of dollars playing a sport. But Chris Bryant has not been himself, whether he's had these knick-knack injuries, which we know he's had. I always say it goes back to him when we were in Colorado covering that series when he got beamed in the face. The stats show that he hasn't been the same. You can look at his batting stance. He don't stand near the plate no more. His whole aura is different.
Yeah, I guess this is what I'm trying to say. When you finally hear your organization start to say stuff like, we're going to be competitive.
I agree with you.
That's what you say right before you're not competitive at all.
I agree with you 100%.
And if they're trading Yu Darvish, And it's obvious that the goal is not World Series anymore, and that you're trading for 16 and 17-year-olds.
16 and 17.
You're about to blow this thing up.
Hey, brother,
you're about to load that tank up.
You know when the tank will really be official? When they trade Wilson Contreras.
And it's hot. The stove is hot for him right now.
We are a few moments away from that. I feel like the next big trade is
if
coming.
Not, honestly, bro, if not any day now. I mean, why wait? You traded your best pitcher.
I agree with you 100%. But they traded their best pitcher because it was $60 million coming back on the books.
But it's not like they plan on doing anything with that.
And we're going to address that as well on the other side of the break. Hey, man, we got a half hour left in the break before the brothers 2 and Herb come on. What I said. We're going to take a break. When we come back on the other side, I got another piece of video that I want to play from Jed Hoyer addressing exactly what T is talking about and addressing Flo and all the rest of the Cubs fans out there in Cubs Nation who want to know what direction we're headed in. You're rocking on the soil with the Bigs.
Church Chicago's Power Hour. I'm your host, Angie Mims, and
Terrence Key, TD, a.k.a. Terrence Daniels.
I wish I had one witness in the house.
You got one. You got a couple of them. Got two T's.
Give me a testimony.
Oh, Lord. He's did it before. Oh, Lord.
I got one. Something better. I got 5 reasons.
5 reasons. Oh, Lord. He turned it around.
Turn it around. He woke me up this morning.
Oh. Don't do this. Go
ahead.
Number 4.
He woke me up this morning.
Come on, number 3. Come.
He woke me up.
Oh, Lord.
He woke you up.
That thing could touch you. One of them 5s will get you. What's the second one?
He woke me up this morning.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my God.
And the number 1 reason.
Number 1. Final answer.
He woke me up this morning.
He woke me up this morning.
That's a testimony.
That's a testimony.
Dame Lillard, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
Hey, this is Jason Kidd, and we're rocking with the Bigs.
I'm Chris Bryant from the Chicago Cubs, and I'm rocking with the Bigs.
This is Mark Cuban, Dallas Mavericks. You're rocking with the Bigs.
Life is a stage, basically. I was raised in these mazes, named the streets for players of reputations. Faithfully make G's with more cake pastries than bakeries. Deal with equations ranging from A to Z. Touch more bricks than Mason, serving like maitre d's. Pitching like we in the major leagues. Occasionally blazing bees, seeking that painful peace amongst a parade of fiends afraid to sleep. Dazed in the range, losing days of Z's. That's why my old girl prayed for me every day, cause I'm faded like tapers at the table, G. I can't take it, I can't wait to escape and leave, cause this basement is no place to stay for me. But I believe I'm the creator, I create the scenes that can't be seen just by the way I think and breathe. There's a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. In high school, she was average, mostly C's and D's. Same shit, now she high too, mostly off C and D. Now I have my loot clothes, CDs and DVDs. Easily these things could leave, cause she a sneaky thief, trust me. Always fussing, starting shit, I hear her. Arguments with the mirror regarding her appearance, her health declines thusly. First her mind, then abruptly she finds herself mumbling all the time to herself. Trying to find herself by dealers that sell. Insecure, still in a shell, killing herself. And as long as she been blowing, it never seems to soak in. When she has convulsion, shivering like she cold. And my cousins ask me where they moms be. I'ma tell her my auntie on the concrete, walking dead like zombies. There comes a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice is never change your life, just change your life. I've been debating on rearranging my life. I'm at a different stage of the game in my life. This is why I listen when I'm praying at night for answers to the questions that I'm stressing to fight. Lord knows the fortune is a goal, but I'm not forcing my soul to be sold between the forks in the road in order to blow. What can I leave beside my corpse when I'm gone? And my CDs with assortments of songs. The course I chose to school me was these cruel streets, and it used to fool me till I learned how to do me. Take a look, see how the hood eat, misunderstood by crooks, thieves, good green and cooks. See, I'ma tell you how it should be. The great leaders empower the people so they can see through the powers that be. But instead they carry on like cowards to me, abuse their power to speak while these streets devour the weak. I was told that the soul creates and the mind reacts. I chose my fate, ain't no rewinding me back. Every day's a gift from God, that's why it's called a present. If you believe, you receive and see all the blessings. There comes a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice, you gotta change your life, just change your life. There comes a time and a place in this game of life where you gotta decide your fate or pay the price. Let the voice inside you guide you. My main advice, you gotta change your life, just change your life.
You want to go? Yeah, Jed, I understand you're not going to spend a whole lot, but I mean, you do have the highest priced tickets in baseball, I believe. Shouldn't fans expect you to at least do something to compete for a pennant instead of just, like you said, compete for division?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that I love the fact that we've raised that standard here. That I'm old enough to remember when winning a division was widely celebrated and talked about like it was like one of our kids' birthdays or something like that. And now I think we've gotten to a place where simply winning a division was we just won a division, and I must have forgotten how excited everyone was about that. I feel like that was pretty quickly erased from the discussion. I'm still really proud of the fact that we were able to win the division. We were able to sort of go through a really difficult 2020 and have no positive tests and come together as a group and win a division. And I do feel like that that's a nice secondary goal. I do feel like to your question, I do want to get back to a place where we can enter the playoffs and know that either we're the favorite or a team that can absolutely win the World Series if things go right. I do also think every season's sacred, and I think we're gonna compete this year. But I also will say, I do think it's important to evaluate your personnel appropriately and realize that, I do think that endlessly trying to push the envelope to try to win every single year, win a championship every single year, comes with tremendous risk. And I think that anyone that watched a lot of the moves the Cubs made for years before we got here would acknowledge that. I think I mentioned a bunch of teams before that continue to push and push, and at some point you have to think about the future a little bit. So, do I believe that we're going to have a competitive team this year? Absolutely. But do I think this is a year that you push the envelope to spend and to take on older players and to and to sort of like continue to push because of because you're trying to potentially satisfy something that you don't necessarily believe is the right thing to do. I don't think that's the right thing right now. So, I mean, as I answered Patrick's question, like, I don't think being in the market, in the big free agent market this year, is the right thing for the Cubs to do. Does that mean I don't think we can compete for a championship? No, I think we absolutely can, but I don't think spending money on a free agent this offseason, I don't think that's the right way to attack that problem. Great.
So, what do you think? What do you think, brother?
I feel like Jed sounds like anybody that's in charge of getting ready to rebuild a team. You don't want to lose the fan base.
Well, you're not gonna lose. You're not losing no. let's get it clear. You ain't losing no Cubs. I don't care. We ain't lost for 108 of them, bro. You're not losing a Cubs fan base at all. Go ahead. But I understand what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
But rub the fan base the wrong way.
100%.
You don't want to do that in one fell swoop. You want to let them down easy.
Right.
So this is Jed preparing Cubs Nation for a different way of life than they've been used to the last maybe 4 seasons. And honestly, the reasons he gave, I'm not saying that he's wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? At what point, well, since they trusted their roster the way they did, at what point do you put your foot down and say, no, we're not doing this no more. We have to do something else in order to get back to a point where when we do make the playoffs, we're dangerous, or favored, as he put it. But at the same time, I look over the 3 seasons and I know that they didn't have
3 seasons since 16.
Yeah, they didn't have to be in this situation.
But then, like he said, people act like we didn't win the division this year, and then it's back to what you were saying, and back to what Paul Sullivan was saying, and back to like a lot of the previous questions. It's like, is that what we're doing? Competing to win a division versus competing to win a championship. And you saw he finally mentioned
at the end, he thinks that they can compete for a championship. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to know it. You
if you didn't compete for a championship this year
with you, Darvish, you're not competing with a championship without you, Darvish.
And one of the key things, which I thought one of the key things he said was, and he said it a number of times throughout that whole process, we're keeping an eye on the present, but you would be a fool to think that we're not keeping an eye on the future. And it's like, well, but it's like, I understand what he's saying. And he's saying, well, right now, we're keeping more of an eye on the future than the present. Like, these guys, like they said, Yu Darvish is 34 years old. He's coming back. It's coming down to the back end of his contract. He's not getting younger. He's getting older. True enough, probably the last year and a half has been the best pitching he's done since he's been a pro. But now this gives them a chance to address everybody else. If they trade, which I expect Wilson Contreras to be traded because he probably has the highest value going
to the White Sox. No.
Hey, man, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind keeping his crib in Chicago and going to a contender for the next few years.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting, though, because I feel like what you're doing right now is, for the first time, we're forward in the conversation. Like, we know we're getting an idea what this team is going to look like in a couple of seasons. And here's my prediction, bro. And I'm not saying it's a bad prediction, but get ready for Jay Hay as Mr. Cub, as the resident captain / big brother / father figure of a very young Cubs team.
And how many years? How much? What? Jay Hay got like 2 years left on his deal.
Yeah, I can see them making sure he's good, making sure they offer him the best contract they could possibly find, and then letting him be the one to dictate the temperature of the locker room. You know what I mean? I don't see Anthony Rizzo or Javi or KB being a part of a full rebuild. Not in today's baseball. You get rid of, when you rebuild, you get rid of everybody.
Yeah, and I agree, rebuild. But that's the thing. It's like, okay, you got rid of you got the $60 million off the books. Try to get rid of Willie, get a high yield in return, get players, feed the farm system. Maybe I don't think Miguel Amaya is ready to come up from the minors to be an everyday starting and catcher for the Cubs. So if you can get, a second tier catcher in return or whatever the case may be for that, now you can go on to the rest of the guys. Because something else Jed said during that interview, he said, we've tried to offer the guys contracts for the future, but they declined them. And he's like,
that was after giving them probably some of the smallest.
But that's what he said.
Yeah,
not after. That was. He's saying they have every right to turn those contracts down and determine their worth going forward. So now is the time where now you can address, because you can't keep everybody. You want to keep Riz is 31. He's had back issues. He's been steady as a Cub. He's, one of the best Cubs of all time. Chris Bryant, former Rookie of the Year, former MVP. Javi Baez, second in MVP that year. El Mago, he's still 27. Chris Bryant, Javi, Riz, Willie. Who else is it? That's
Kyle Hendricks.
No, Kyle is good. He signed. We got J. Hay Hap. That's it.
Yeah.
Willie. So, right. Mm-hmm. Willie, KB, Javi, and Riz. Now you got time to address those guys.
What's Homer? Nico?
He's still on his single deal. He ain't even reached arbitration yet. So now, but I'm saying the guys who are in arbitration now who are going to be free agents come next year. Now it's time. Now you have time to address that. You can't keep everybody. Probably can keep 2 of them, maybe 3. But if them guys want the money that they want and they want to get it, then they're going to have to probably go somewhere else and get it. So you'll be able to keep 2. What 2 do you keep?
I keep El Mago, and I keep Anthony Rizzo. I trade KB and Wilson Contreras. Maybe because those are the 2 guys that I feel I could get the most for. And that's not saying you can't get a boatload for Javi, but for the sake of keeping butts in seats,
right?
I want El Mago highlights to be at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, you definitely want the ticket seller in the building.
But if it's one thing I feel like baseball does in any other sport, your favorite player will change jerseys on you. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Javier Baez ended up on another team. We see it happen all the time in baseball.
Right.
Like Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, all of them. Barry Bonds. Anybody.
Sabathia,
Anybody.
Yeah. So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised, but that's why I said it's about what we don't know. I want to know, what we don't know is exactly how hard Jed is going to push this rebuild button. And starting off with you, and then like the next day, it gets hotter and hotter for Wilson Contreras. Makes me feel like everybody can go. And are you talking about a complete sweep of a rebuild? I mean, are you talking about a complete clean slate? Do you even want to deal with Javi's issues if he comes back and he's still batting 200?
Right.
And then you know what Javi's gonna do? Go to LA. Play with Joe Madden and Mike Trout.
Where I would go. Hey, man, all I'm saying is
weirder things have happened. And then I feel like as an alum of the 2005 World Series, with the White Sox, like seeing it all, having seen it all fall apart, it looks like it's all falling apart. And I don't see I'm failing to see why they would keep why keep KB now? You know what I mean? When you're already showing signs that didn't work.
Well, we know the Washington Nationals, they lost Anthony Rendon last year, so we know they're looking for a third baseman. So I mean, there's been talks of that. Scott Boras, the money machine. He's out there looking and fielding calls all day long about KB. I just feel like the telling sign for me was just Jed saying that they're not looking to spend heavily in free agency until they feel like it's the right time.
Yeah, hey, real
and
talk,
now ain't the right time.
He definitely kind of kept his skrill with that because Derek Jeter didn't say that when he was tearing down the Marlins. You know what I mean? He was like, please come to the stadium. You know what I mean? While he traded everybody. At least he's saying, look, don't expect us to go dive into the deep end when we're not ready to swim yet.
Hey, man, this is the end of an era, bro. It started with not returning Dexter Fowler, like Flo said, man. Dex settled for the lesser of the plantation, which I'm not sure if St. Louis Cardinals is a less of a plantation than
when he's done in St. Louis. I'm sure we're going to hear how much he hated it
all day. You can tell. You can
bullshit he dealt with.
Yeah, but that was the start. And like you said, just seeing how things have played out. I mean, it's great being an insider and knowing what really goes on is financially and the decisions being made and who makes the decisions.
But see, what's really going on financially with the Cubs? I feel like that's what's making me scratch my head the most.
They took out billions of dollars of loans.
But they made billions.
Yeah,
I mean,
but they gotta pay them loans back, bruh. They ain't trying to pay them loans back out of their pocket. Let's recoup.
Before I like hop on to their broke train.
Oh, they ain't broke. Stop.
I would have to see, but you see guys like David Kaplan on Twitter completely pushing the narrative. Hey, these guys are broken. That's why they've cut 100 employees. I'm like, yeah, because they being cheap as hell.
That's what broke is. Again, Joe, I just told Mays in the comments, man, rich people don't stay rich by spending their money, bro. So they're going to recoup their bread. They're not making nothing off Wrigley Field. They ain't getting no ticket sales. Ain't no concessions. I'm sure Cubs fans are still buying merch. Ain't nobody watching Marquee. Nobody spending however much per month to have a Marquee subscription.
Don't forget the Lynn Casper League.
Lynn Dip. That's to the other side of town.
These are indictments on what's going on behind the scenes with the Cubs.
100%. I agree.
It's like I don't want to act like everything is rosy. Shout out to Rosie.
Right.
Shout out to Peter Chase. All these
man.
cats
Shout out to Peter,
that they axed. And now they like, oh yeah, we're not gonna be competitive on the field either.
Theo got out the Jizam.
Yeah, shout out to Theo for getting out like a thief in the night, like a smooth criminal. And I feel for my Cubs fans.
No, don't feel for us.
I do.
Don't feel for me, bro.
I know because I know you got what you always wanted.
But this is what
you could have been a contender. Yeah, you could have been so much more though.
Cubs fans, I feel y'all. Don't get it twisted. I feel y'all 100%, but I also understand where Jed and Tom Ricketts and Papa Ricketts and them billionaires are coming from, bruh.
So do you think these guys are back to prominence like soon?
Prominence? No.
Like actually like Cubs may win the World Series.
Unless Jed has a change of heart and wants to spend some money and sign DJ LeMahieu quick. And maybe, we can get
that is totally what it sounded. He said, I'm not doing that.
So, well, there you go. Sorry, Cubs fans. Hope you can keep Javi and them guys to keep y'all happy when you can show back up to the ballparks. But for now, I agree with Jed. I do still think they can be competitive because the NL Central is trash. And with Zach Davies and maybe – so before we get out of here, I want to know your favorite moment this year on the soil. But another thing is, so when you add a guy like Zach Davies, and people that don't know Zach Davies' makeup, he's a guy, he fits the two guys who are still left in the starting lineup right now, Kyle Hendricks, our boy Poetry in Motion, and Alec Mills, who threw a no-hitter last year.
He did.
But Zach Davies is that caliber pitcher. Like he's
what instantly flashed through my head though? 91, 92 miles per hour.
Not even. 87 to 89.
Exactly. Now you got three, but I'm like, for when you said Kyle Hendricks, Alec Mills, and now you got Zach.
They're the same makeup. 87 to 89, 90, 91 on a good day. A great mix of changeups. I think Zach Davies threw like 41% changeups last year. So it's the same makeup. Now you got because that's the thing about having a starting rotation. You got to have different looks in your starting rotation. So now we have three right-hand pitchers who have the same makeup: fastball, changeup, curveball every now and then. I don't know how that's going to work. Jed definitely addressed that. He said that's something that he thought about in getting Zach Davies in return. So I'm pretty sure they're navigating. Tommy Hotovy, Tommy's a great pitching coach.
About to put him to work.
It's something's got to give. So, hey, Cubs fans, man, if y'all wasn't fans in 2016 and didn't worship that 2016 championship like I did, never washed my Nike shirt that we poured champagne on all day.
I retired that jacket, bruh.
Man, we got Ivy from center field. We got all type of mementos from
signed credentials.
Man, look.
Come on.
Sorry, guys, but that's my last comment about the Cubs is get ready.
Yo, my message to Cub fans is, hey, the grass is greener on the other side of town, man. It's room on the bandwagon. It is Chicago. I know that we go back and forth doing the Crosstown Classic, but look, we can sing "Don't Stop Believing" together. Okay, so Don't worry. The White Sox are here to take care of all your baseball needs for the foreseeable future.
Go White Sox, man.
Gino, look, can we start with, I like the question of your favorite sports moment, or I mean not sports moment from on the soil since we've been here in 2020, man. Are you ready to go first?
Man, I thought about it because I thought about just springing this up on you without you having any thought.
I just, of course, all the moments flashed in my head.
Right, but I mean, I can't really pick out one, man. We had so many great. I want to shout out Don for plugging us in with some of the guests that we've had. It's like we've had so many great guests.
Major MVP.
Like Eric Davis, bro. Like I never thought. I mean, we done met all types of people and had conversations.
But nah, it's different when you get a chance to sit down and chop it.
Eric Davis is like, man, nothing. That was great. And like I said, we've had so many good conversations with these people. So starting off with Sonny Vaccaro, like a legend.
Sonny V to kick it off. Sonny V be texting me and calling me.
And come on, now you plugged in with Sonny V.
Come on, thank you.
If it wasn't for him, who knows what Nike and Air Jordan would be.
He knows we're keeping him in mind too. So
but then going from becoming tight with Mark Aguirre, who we used to see on the high school front, but now we're trying to formulate a plan and come up with some big things for 2021 for the
Big Mark.
Mark, like Uncle Jesse. If Uncle Jesse, man, I got you, Joe. He was Mark's biggest
making
fan.
him proud, bro.
And
Nick Anderson.
Nick Anderson,
Scoop
Brad
Jackson.
Seller, Scoop Jackson, Twan.
My favorite, bro, Twan. Yeah, I mean, can I say something about that for a second?
All day before we get up out of here, man.
That is the one interview that I wanted us to be able to have. Yes, we did Derrick Rose, and that was important to both of us for obvious reasons. But the end of that interview, when you and Twan got to
people still hit me up
kind of men things.
People still hit me up to this day about that last 5 minutes of the interview.
Man, bro, Twan is first of all is always cool in my book for that moment. It showed the growth, but what it also showed, bro, is all of our conversations behind the scenes. I know what that moment meant to you. It meant the world to me to be able to witness that, and it was just another testament to the fact of being thankful that we've been able to push this brand or idea. It started as just idea. The fact that we've been able to push this forward and make it into a platform where we get to have those conversations, man. I downloaded that interview immediately as soon as I got home, bro. I'm like, I'm always gonna have to have this one on tuck. I'm thankful that we was able to do it in this beautiful studio. It wasn't just from the living room like we was doing on the soil when the pandemic first started.
Right.
We got to do it for our people, black people, man, the people.
Man, my guy, Delbert Howe, D. Howe.
Yeah.
D. Howe hit me up and said he cried watching that.
Man, I understand, bro. I was sitting here just looking like, bro, did I just witness that? Yes, man. So that was totally my favorite moment from On the Soil so far.
No doubt, man. We've had a bunch of great moments so far. Shout out to the What's In It for the Black People media family. Shout out to Flo holding us down behind the boards. Shout out to Serafina back there. Just shout out to the whole What's In It for the Black People media. I was talking to Maze yesterday. And man, we got some work to do, man, because it's time to take this thing, like they say on the Maze Jackson show, to 60,000 feet, man. It's time. What's in it for the Black People media, from the Maze Jackson show to the Book of Dawn to Milwaukee Hills World to On the Soil to I Said What I Said to Neil's business show on Saturday to Go Ladies to the
powwow on Sunday
to the kickoff kickback.
The kickoff kickback.
Man, Joe, it is 100% cracking, man. And
shout out to Herb, man.
Herb be kicking it, man. Mars sleep on Herb's sports take, man. He might have the intellectual thuggery him and too.
Muggs may be sleep on Herb as a whole. The man that just does it all here. Shout out to Herb.
And Herb been holding it down for my late great cousin Philip Jackson over there. If y'all don't know about the late great Philip.
Yes, sir.
I receive all of that love. Thank you, brothers.
Yes, sir.
It's all we got, man.
Yes,
all we got. So we appreciate everybody out there tuned in, rocking with the brothers on the soil. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, whatever social media platform you rocking with us on, man. We very much appreciate you guys. We won't see y'all until 2021, man. Hey, and that's not this Friday, because this Friday is 2021. We'll see y'all next week in 2021.
Absolutely. Hey, go into the new year with a refreshed mind. a renewed spirit, man. You made it to the finish line, and that's good enough, man. Y'all stay blessed up out here. Hey, happy birthday, LeBron.
Happy birthday to LeBron. I see Randy Spann out there talking about his King GOAT James birthday. He is King James.
Happy birthday, LeBron.
But he's not the GOAT, and we're going to leave it at that. Dame Lillard gave them people 31, 6, and 5. Am hit me with my parlay the other day.
Oh,
shout out to my boy
that's
Video Game Dame. But, yeah, shout out to LeBron. Happy birthday. Glad to see that brother still pushing forward in his 18th year.
Hey, yo.
And holding the NBA down.
On that note, for the last time in 2020, bruh, you just got down on the soil. You just rocked with the bigs. We are so thankful for y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all in a few days, man. Happy New Year. Happy Kwanzaa still for everybody still celebrating.
Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, and Allahu Akbar to everybody out there rocking with the bigs, man.
Peace.
City in the city, empty Phillies, plenty fifths of Remy, pitching pennies on tips with 20s. More than rapper music, in fact, it's the truth. With avenues, with cash jabbing, stacking loot, moving sacks and shoes. Where the people be creeping deep in the evening, peeking out, Caprice is peeking, but I seen them before they